Hi, guys. Hello.
Hello.
Woohoo. I'm hiding in
Hello.
my bedroom. It's hide worthy level of loudness at my house. The dogs plus the kids plus the puppies. There's just straight whirlwind level noise. Hi, guys. Hi, Diana. Yay.
Hello.
Molly, look who it is. Diana's on.
Surprise.
Yay.
Happy New Year, Diana. Nice to see your face.
Happy New Year.
Woohoo.
And there's Sarah and May and Kathy, Brittany, Natika, Amy, Nikki, and Marlena, and Lisa, and Mabel. Yay. Hey, Mabel. And there's Liz. Hi, Liz.
Hello.
Happy New Year. And then Shelby and Jen. Sweet. We'll give everybody like one more minute. Then we'll get to cracking. Woohoo. And now it feels overly quiet. I don't know if I can even lead a call when it's quiet. I feel like I won't have any focus without kids hollering at me and dogs barking and stuff. And there's Erica and Sam and Aaron. Sweet. Yay, our Fitme family meeting. We're filling up. This is supposed to be the big call that we get to. A lot of people should be on here, and everybody's listening to it now. So it's so good to see so many faces at one time. There's Kristen. All right, guys, and there's Lauren. Sweet. All right, well, let's get to it. Happy Sunday. Happy New Year. Yahoo! It's 2021. It's January. Like all these things, I feel like I need reminders. I'm like, wait a minute, it's January. We have a lot of great stuff coming up in together, like as a part of our Fitme family and what's ahead for us. And so I want to do a couple of quick announcements. So one, we're just going to do a quick summary of last week. We shared that the Sunday call is now our Fitme family meeting. It's something we want everybody to either attend live or listen to the replay. So everybody will listen to the same Sunday call to kick off their week. And your very first thing that you do to start your week is to send a Marco Polo message to your coach. So that's how you start your week. Rather than fill out the Google form is gone. The Sunday email is gone. Instead, you listen to the family meeting and then you send a check-in to your coach with the answer to whatever the prompt is on the Sunday call. And then also anything that you need that week to be successful, any concerns, challenges that you have, anything like that. You send that to your coach either on Sunday or Monday, and then your coach will send you back a message on Tuesday so you guys can communicate at the very beginning of the week. So just wanted to reiterate that a lot of people did an awesome job with that last week. But since it's a change, I just want to keep repeating it until we all kind of remember and know that this is the new thing. So that's piece number one. Piece number two is this week on Thursday, we're doing a live training. And so what a live training is it's kind of just a training that I put together based on things that I've heard you guys say that you want and need. But these live trainings are free and open to the public. So we put these out to the universe. People can come for the training, learn all the things. You guys can come. And then at the end, I usually share a little bit about what our coaching program's about. So if you have somebody who's kind of interested and they want to be a part and they're just not even sure, they can come and sort of see what it's about. They'll get a really good feel just for the kind of approach we take on things, and they'll get to hear about coaching, but it's also just going to be a good training. This one is on how to organize and structure your life for your goals. I think we all need a little dose of that from time to time. And just getting organized is something that we think that we should have already known how to do, but that's just not necessarily the case. Sometimes it's one of those things where You take care of everything else, but being organized and having good strategies for time and how to prioritize things. You could do it in one area, but maybe not in other areas. So that's what this training is going to be on. So I'm putting in the chat box a link. So if you would like to register to come, it's free, just come. And if you have somebody who wants to come, then feel free to send that to them. So that was announcement number 2. And last but not least is announcement number 3, which is we are very excited to announce that we have brought on 4 new coaches onto the Fitme team. And so before I say their names, I just want to share a little bit about the process that they went through. Back in March, the end of February, I made an announcement that there was going to be a new certification and program to become a Fitme coach. And they jumped on board before it was even a thing. They were like, yes, that's me. I want to be a part of that. So they did 10 weeks of a pretty in-depth, hardcore certification, certainly more in depth than many of the certifications that I've taken before. They did 10 weeks of that. Then they did an additional 4 weeks of Fitme training specific to what we do. And then they just completed a 12-week internship with led by Coach Molly, our director of coaching. So they have basically been putting in work since March to achieve this goal. And so they have not only shown that they care and are deeply committed to our mission, but they've also shown that they've got what it takes to be an incredible coach, and they are learning just like all of us and continuing to learn, but they're fantastic. And I couldn't feel more confident and proud to bring them on the team. And so our 4 new coaches that have completed this, 9 months of training are Rebecca Dane and Brittany Wright, who is on here, Brittany, and who, by the way, PS, did this while she was pregnant and had a baby, because her baby is not very old. Christy Jackson, which I don't think Christy's on. When you see her, give her some love. And then Sam Taylor, which I don't think, oh, there you are, down there you are, you just hopped on, and Sam. And so congratulations, guys. You will see them take a role, obviously, in coaching, but also just in everything that we do. And they're a special part of this mission. And so anyways, congrats, guys. So that was I don't know, we can't clap because it's Zoom, everybody's muted, but we're all clapping. So that brings me to tonight's call. And honestly, that's a perfect segue, to be honest, because last week on the Fitme family meeting, we talked about where do we want to be on this day next year. And just like they did, sometimes you have to make a intention about where you want to be before you even see the path, right? You're like, I want to do this thing. I'm going to go ahead and take the first step and I'm going to do it. And it can be a long process. So what we talked about last week is, where do you want to be on this time next year? And that's what you sent to your coaches. And we had some really good conversations all week about this, but that's a big timeline. 12 months, even though that's, it seems to go fast, it's kind of far away. And depending on what you said, there's probably, I don't know, there could be 15 to 20 different things that have to happen before you get to that place. There might be numerous milestones you have to hit before you get there. And all of it can feel overwhelming, but also some of it can just be like, okay, well, there's all these steps and you probably verbalized where you want to be this time next year and then immediately got to it thinking about how do I get there, right? I had people telling me they got their spreadsheets and they've got their this and that they're planning out and thinking about it, and all of that's fantastic. But before we move forward into the new year, I want you to think about something a little bit different, which is if you are going to climb a mountain, say you have a dream and you're like, one day I'm going to climb Mount Everest. That's my dream. I see myself at the top, the big goal. So many things have to happen along the way, right? You got to learn how to do it. You have to fly there. You got to get a guide. You got to climb to the first base camp. You got to do so many things. And that's not even to mention the actual doing it physically. But now that you're moving forward on that goal, the most important thing that you can do is ask yourself, what is the smallest possible step that will keep me going towards that goal? What's the smallest and repeatable step that I can take to get to where I want to be this time next year? Because sometimes we think about the big things. We think about, well, I've got to do this, and that's great. But if you don't know what the smallest repeatable thing is that you have to do consistently, then you might get lost along the way, and you might get overwhelmed when things get tough. And you might also make things harder than they have to be. Sometimes we do that to ourselves. We make things complicated when they don't have to be. We talked about this actually in the Fitme certification about goal setting. And we've talked about it, over the summer when we were talking about goals, that usually big goals kind of boil down to small, tiny things that you do over and over again. So like, let's think about an example. If you were going to write a book, if your goal was to write a book, there's a lot of things. This time next year, my book's going to be done. Okay. Well, the smallest thing, well, I got to write the first chapter, but that's not really the smallest thing. What's the smallest repeatable thing? Well, I can write 1 page, even that, not the smallest thing. You can get even smaller than that. Well, I can write a couple words, even smaller than that. It's like picking up the pen and starting that first letter. The first letter as a piece of the first word that is in the chapter that builds the book. So putting the pen on the paper and creating a letter is the example of what I'm talking about. The smallest repeatable action that it will take for you to get to your goal. And sometimes it can be challenging to figure out what it is, because you have to keep peeling back. Well, is that the smallest? If I keep doing that small thing over and over and over again, will I get closer? Will I get better at this? Will I learn the things I have to learn along the way to become the person who has achieved that? And once you know that, and you know it, and that's what your target is for this week, is to tell your coach, what is the smallest repeatable action that you need to do to get to your goal? Then that's going to be your default when things get hard. That's going to be how you know, okay, well, today I just did this. Or today, I did this and it wasn't even that good, but I did it. And I know I have to keep doing that thing over and over again to get where I want to be. And so I'm going to keep doing it. So, if you think about the body stuff, we want to go with, oh, I need to make healthy meals, or I need to work out. That's kind of like those chapters or even those paragraphs. They're smaller things that you have to repeat to be able to get to where you want to be. If it's like a body goal, if it's a mindset goal, it's kind of similar. It's like, well, I want to meditate every day. Well, that's good, but you got to get even smaller than that. What's the thing that you have to repeat over and over and over again? The smallest repeatable thing. So with that, I kind of want to open it up. You might not even know the answer right now, but let's talk about this for a few. Is there something that you've ever accomplished maybe in the past that's kind of epic that you can relate this to? Where maybe you've used this strategy or you've thought about it this way? Is there a time that you've gone the other direction? Maybe you've set a big goal and you kind of like shot yourself in the foot because you've gotten too complicated, too big, too overwhelmed with all the moving parts.
Okay, so I was going to kind of put this towards doing the 100 plate challenge.
Mm-hmm.
To me, when I think of 100 plates, it's such a huge number, and then I end up psyching myself out. So even in the Marco Polo group, I'm no longer thinking about 100 plates. I'm thinking about the plates today, like just doing 1 to 2 plates a day, and then just getting the 100 completely out of my mind, because I know I can do 100 plates. But then I think about the time and how big it is and blah, 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 where if I can just think of doing 2 Fitme plates a day, today, not even a day, just doing 2 today, and then just repeating that tomorrow and the next day, I'm going from a day to day instead of a huge, 100 plate mindset.
Mm-hmm. Where does that get you to the place that you said that you want to be? Does that go with your kind of goal from last week?
Yes, very much so. And
Mm-hmm.
then I even wrote down my little notes. It's even going smaller than that, as into not just meal prepping, but meal planning, like writing down on our little family chalkboard, these are the meals that I'm going to make. And then when I go to the grocery store, making sure I'm buying everything to get those things. So that way it's not Thursday and we're going, what are we making today? I don't know what's in the refrigerator. And it's already, it's like taking the thought process out of it.
Mm-hmm. And so your repeat would almost be like your small repeatable action would be like something like on a Sunday repeat where you're like planning and ordering your food. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, but just making that on a bigger level of like every day and like, this is yeah, I guess so. But just taking the weekly out of it and just even making it an everyday, like planning ahead of time, everything that I'm going to eat, and not necessarily vaguely or not necessarily specifically, I should say, but just having an idea. And when I go to the grocery store, I'm no longer just kind of picking up stuff. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm going to make that week and what I need to get to make it.
So I think what you're saying actually is like your smallest repeatable action is the Fitme plate. It's the default. It's the smallest thing that you're saying, like, when I do this, I'm still moving towards my goal. Even if it's just this one plate, this is that step in the right direction. That's what I think is your small repeatable action is a plate, but impossible without like the planning that you're talking about. It's, I guess it would be like that book example. Like if writing a word or even a letter is the smallest repeatable action to keep you moving towards finishing the book, you got to have paper and pen. Otherwise you're not doing it. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. You've got to have your food in your house and have an idea of what you're going to build. But then the repeatable action that you're going to default to is just one more plate. I like it. That's a great one. Anybody else have some thoughts or ideas?
Christy, I'm kind of feeling overwhelmed with the whole, what do I want to have in place a year from now?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of scary because I'm like, but I know that Lauren and I discussed I'm going to be working on my organization and my time management. So this Thursday could be one of my little action steps.
Maybe a way to think about it, Kristen, would be to sort of reframe it from a measurable milestone, like, oh, I want to have done X, or I want to, be able to do. So instead of, for example, like in a weight loss category, if you're like, this time next year, I want to have lost 20 pounds or something like that, that could be a thing. But instead saying like, I want to be in a place where I can do X, Y, and Z. So like for your organization example, it might feel overwhelming to even try to put specifics on what you would have accomplished, but maybe at this time next year, you want to be in a place where, you feel organized in these particular areas. You don't have the stresses of that in your life. So you're actually in a different place, but it doesn't necessarily have to be measured by some, I don't know, like, it'd be hard to like quantify how you would improve your organization skills, except that you would have a different level of stress, and maybe like your efficiency would be different because things would be in their place and you would have confidence. So you just want to be in that place where you feel like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know one of the things that I've been working on is my I guess it might be a little bit more specific than time blocking, but routine blocking.
Mm-hmm. And we'll get into some of those. We'll get into some of those blocks actually on Thursday. We'll go into that strategy. But I think your example is a good one because, and you and Lauren can dive into it this week. If you take the approach of like, I want to be in a place where, and have that sort of goal for this time next year, if you can't answer this week's question, then it's still not really the right goal. Because if you can't define what's the smallest possible step that you can take to move towards it, then you're not able to like actually, it's not clear enough. This week is a really good way to measure last week to find out if it's a clear goal.
Right. Like, for example, I have my lunches ready for the next 3 days. I'm working Monday through Thursday this week. But like I said, I wanted to have my breakfast and lunch ready for all 4 days, but at least I got my lunch ready for the next 3 days and my breakfast for tomorrow. And when I get off of work tomorrow, I'm going to prepare an egg casserole and have that done and out of the oven by the time we have our next Fitme call tomorrow night at 7.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
So,
yeah.
And I've been working on my, my evening routine. Like, what do I really have to get done? What do I need to have done before I go to bed to make tomorrow happen?
Mm-hmm. That's really good. And I think I really am glad you brought yours up just because it is almost like a harder one. And I feel like if you said to your coach this past week, I want to be healthier, or I want to be in a place where like X, and this week is hard, it should help you break down the pieces of your bigger goal, right? Like there's going to be, it's really valuable to break it down so that okay, these are the steps I've got to do to get to this piece. Some people had goals, for example, where they said like, I want to be stronger and I want to be able to fit in these clothes and I want to feel more confident like than I do right now. None of that is bad, but you can see there's some holes in it where you're like, I can't answer this week's question about all of that. I got to break those down into pieces so that I know what my smallest, repeatable action is to get there. Does anybody else have some thoughts either about theirs or just in general about this strategy? I hear the doggos.
So
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
It was Jen and then someone else, but I couldn't see who the other person was.
It was me. It's okay.
Well, Jen, you go
Margie
first.
Is me. Sorry. It said me like you would know who it was.
Jen, you go first and then Margie.
So I guess for me, I struggle a lot with exercise and like keeping to like an exercise routine. And I think my like smallest step that I have to accomplish for me is like physically walking to the place in my house where I exercise. Cause it like right now it's on like the top floor. It's like on the 3rd floor of my house and there's like literally nothing else up there and no reason for me to go up there other than to exercise. So like that's like the smallest thing that I could do is just to walk up all the stairs to like get to that room to exercise, which is actually why I think I'm about to rearrange my house so that my exercise is on the middle floor and my bed's on the top floor. So then I have to walk through that place. There's no like avoiding it, but that would be like probably my smallest step is just physically walking to the place where I exercise.
Maybe that should be the piece that you celebrate. So again, like we like to celebrate sort of the bigger things and like the kind of like I finished the chapter sort of things, but really it sounds like to me, like every single time you walk up those stairs to get a workout in, you should be giving yourself a pat on the back. Like you should have a chart up there, gold star. I just walked up these stupid steps. And again, you get the win just for doing the smallest repeatable thing. Like regardless of what happens with the exercise that day, that's the big step for you.
That's my biggest issue, is just physically getting there. So
I like it, Jen. And keep us posted if you do move it. But either way, I don't hate the fact that you have to walk up there. I feel like it's like putting your sneakers on or something. It's like a mental cue too. Going up these stairs, like I'm going to do this for myself. You have that moment of like going up there that you get to actually be present with it. And then you get to the top and you get to celebrate you did it, regardless of the workout.
Well, gosh, if that's all I got to do is walk up the stairs, like
That's the mindset I want you to take. Though. That's exactly it. Like that's exactly the mindset. We shared this TED talk like in the coaching certification about how this guy was like knitting blankets for trees, and he's like covering trees and blankets, but the smallest possible thing is all he had to do was like knit one little square.
I watched that TED talk. Yeah.
It's in the materials, I think, of week 12 for everybody on goal setting.
Yeah, I watched it.
That TED talk, that's what we're talking about. Yes, you get to celebrate walking up the stairs. That's that square. You can reject your workout and walk back down the stairs and then walk back up 25 more times, and then you would have accidentally done a workout.
That is true. It's a long flight of stairs.
That's what I mean.
Hey, Christy, I'd like to add on to Jen's thing. A couple weeks ago, at least, my sister Molly told me about Mel Robbins and the 5-second rule. And I finally made time to actually look for that. Or it actually happened in my YouTube feed today. And so I listened to the audiobook. The 5-second rule is you have to count down 5 to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then move towards that actionable goal. You know, and sometimes she said it was for her, it was, you know, Mel Robbins said for her, it was hitting the snooze button because it was her way of saying, F you world, I'm not dealing with you yet. But it was that hesitation thing. So try that, Jen. Look it up.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat box. Mel Robbins 5-second rule.
Yeah, it's
Thank you.
awesome.
Thanks, Kristen.
Welcome. No problem.
Margie, what were you going to say?
No one was talking, and mine's probably stupid because
Nope,
it just popped in my head.
It was not stupid.
No, I was just thinking that I just had like a realization tonight that like less is more, because I feel like I like do too much all at once and then just say F it all. And even tonight, you know, like I got out of work and my husband wanted me to pick up McDonald's for him because that's what he was in the mood for. So I got different food. So then I'm like, okay, I'm eating healthy. And then I finish it off with his leftover chicken nugget that was just sitting there on the table. And then I popped on this and I was like, even just like that little action of like those little baby steps of not picking up the little snack, or, you know, I don't know, like one little good thing like kind of leads to the next little good thing. Just like one little bad thing leads to the next little bad thing. Because if I'm like not slipping, but like allowing myself here and there. So, you know, whether that goes into food and fitness and work, in mindset, in positivity thinking, like, I don't know. I just like, it was just like on my mind strong when people started sharing in the beginning that for me, I feel like that's going to be the game changer because it has to be like, I don't know if that makes sense.
It definitely does. And it's not stupid. I feel like you're identifying like a little small mindset win, you know, and a repeatable win of just passing, you know, on something that you're not wanting, or rather than go there, you're like, you can celebrate that little win the same way that Jen can celebrate going up the stairs. It's just it's very similar. You might not always have that win either. It's not a given. It's not necessarily like, I mean, it's small and it's simple, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's easy to do all the time perfectly. So
Yeah.
I just feel like for you, I want you to be able to define where that's taking you. I want you to know that clear as day, you know?
Hey, Margie, you should also celebrate the fact that you only had one chicken nugget. It could have been a lot more.
Perspective, right? Yeah.
You know, think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, that's actually what I was thinking too. And I was like, you're making it seem like it's a bad thing, but you did a bigger thing of not getting a meal at all from the McDonald's and going and getting your own food. Like that to me was like a bigger thing than just eating the one chicken nugget.
Thank you guys for that. Yeah, I didn't even think about it.
You may not have, you know,
I
it's
miss you,
easy.
Sarah.
It's easy to feel.
I know I miss you too.
It's easy to feel self-defeated when you know that you didn't want to touch any of it at all, but you've got to quiet that inner bitch. You know,
Did you say inner bitch?
Yeah,
the
she
inner
did.
critic. Our inner critic is an inner bitch, and she loves misery, and misery loves company.
Go to bed, baby.
So
Yeah.
just congratulate yourself, you know, give yourself the credit that, hey, I only did that. I'm not, you know, I know sometimes we can get hung up on, oh, well, making excuses, but you still got to celebrate that.
And
Yeah.
I think like we talk a lot about all or nothing, but even this week's topic, it's very much like that. When we get in an all or nothing mindset, we're like, well, if I can't write a full chapter today, then I'm not doing it. You know, I can't do it today. And if I can't have this then I didn't succeed. If I had that one chicken nugget after I had the perfect meal, well, then I didn't succeed. Like I got a lot of work to do, but really that's the all or nothing. When you took a couple tiny steps already towards where you wanted to be, and wins. So that's the beauty of kind of getting out of that place, is when you define those little things that are the tiny wins, moving you forward towards somewhere you want to be, then we can remove some of that pressure, right? Because it's not like, oh, if I didn't write a chapter today, then I didn't succeed. It's like, oh, I got a letter down on paper. That was good for today. I did it. And then I got a couple, and I got a couple more, and I got a couple more. My handwriting's getting better. Like that's the kind of thing that will happen when you take away the all or nothing. So, well, I want to wrap it here because I want to keep these as close to 30 minutes as I can. So your target this week is to define what is your smallest repeatable action that will get you towards that place that you said you want to be 1 year from now. And if that place you want to be needs to be broken down a little bit, then go ahead and do that. That's part of what this is. So if you need to clarify and refine, or even break it down into 2 or 3, then do that. Because then you'll know what your default is, that small repeat step to move you forward. Thanks guys for plugging in. I want to take a quick picture before we go. So if you want, turn on your camera real quick. If not, I'll put emojis. All right, guys. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Have a great week. Thank you so much for all the good thoughts and feedback. We're excited to hear your responses, and happy Sunday. Bye, guys.
Bye.